The Generation to Generation Cowboys and Sports Talk. My dad, my partner, my co-host, Cowboy Joe 64.
I am your father.
Just to get the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really what this is gonna be about.
Hey, Jules.
Yeah, I'll let you go ahead and do the intro.
Okay, so this is Cowboy Joe with father and son sportscast. I'm joined live with B-Bird Cowboys. We're gonna do the post-game show, Cowboys Broncos, and we're kind of producing in real time. Sorry about that. So got a little technical difficulties here, but we're gonna go ahead and just jump into it. So Jules has started the show, and B-Bird, glad you was able to join. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you start us off with your initial thoughts on the game.
So my initial thoughts, well, for one thing, how's everybody in Cowboy Nation doing? It's not a good time for us right now. Um, I guess I predicted us to win the game. I was hoping we'd break the streak. I think I said if we win by a point, I'd be happy. A couple of things that went against us, just going to Denver, period. We have not beaten them in a while.
Yeah.
Coming off of a division win like we did, then have to go up there to Denver. But one other thing I'm gonna research this because I think I made mention of it the other day is that we don't play well on grass.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another grass. And I thought about it. I said, well, where did we play on grass at before? And I said, I think it was the last time we played on grass in Chicago. And we didn't play well there either. So if I would recall, I did a little bit of research last season and noticed that, man, we kind of, we may win some games, but we don't play well on grass. Like we may beat Carolina a couple of years ago in Carolina, but we had to pull it out at the end and all that kind of stuff where, usually we kind of, we was running. That was in our good season with 2023. We did that. But one of the things I looked at out there on that field, man, and I know, Joe, I think we kind of differ on this, or it's a little bit of both, but I think it's more of this. I'm gonna list these things. Reddy Stewart, this is his third team in 3 years, undrafted free agent. Murray, former number one pick, whose first team didn't even want to resign him. Bland was a 5th round pick. We got lucky with him. Bridges, who started out there today, was a 7th round pick. I think this year got cut. They picked him up, and now he's starting. Marquise Bell, undrafted free agent from FAMU. Shamar James, 5th round draft pick. Elam, 1st round draft pick, gave up on him in 2 years. Leofold, 3rd round draft pick. Osa, 3rd round draft pick. And Clowney is a prior number one, well past his prime. I don't like Eberflus's defense, but I'm gonna tell you this: we don't have the players to win. I was listening to Boss, the round table as when he's watching the game, listening to Boss Cowboy and HTM and all those guys.
Mm-hmm. I listened to it as well.
And I sent him a super chat. I don't know if you saw it, and I said, "Name one player that would start for Philadelphia." And they said, "Well," then somebody when the super chat came up, they said Bland. And then somebody said kind of like, well, that don't really matter. No, it does matter because it's telling you that you don't have the talent, right? Like I'd rather be the team that had all the players that, another team could break through our starting lineup and play. I don't want to be the one that we're just trying to patchwork this thing with these guys, man. We are really going a cheap route. And it's kind of getting frustrating. And to me, it's just obvious, man. Me and my wife sitting there watching the game and she was asking me what's wrong. I said, baby, they just not good. I said, it's no different than going to get the high school cornerback and setting him out there. And then he get burned. And then people saying, man, how did you let Justin Jefferson beat you? Dude's a high school cornerback. At some point in time, talent has to count. And today, man, it just shows you not Diggs. Maybe Diggs is going through some things physically, but it shows you the difference when you get a Diggs or somebody that ilk. He can hang with those guys, man. But when you don't get a guy like that, man, you just go get a 7th rounder that was cut from a team previously. And could I be honest with you? I didn't know who Bridges was. I saw him last week. I say, who is that? I've never seen that guy. I don't remember them picking him up. And so my thing from the game is that this is when we ask our offense. We think, hey, we're gonna go score 40, but sometimes they're not gonna score 40, man. And
Yeah.
that's when you need your defense to come up and make some plays. And so my thing from the game, I look on that field, and it just probably nobody gonna be able to tell me that the talent is where it's supposed to be for us to compete.
Yep. And I'm not at all going to disagree with you. I think you're 100% right. This is a team that they put together. I still haven't figured out yet why they cut Izzy Mukwamu. Well, and I actually, it's a rhetorical question. Uh, any kind of player that has edge to him, that's feisty, he had a reputation with the coaches that they didn't really like his kind of, bravado, his kind of play. This franchise, they tend to not want those kind of players. They like guys like Terrence Steele, guys that have that kind of
Mentality.
mentality. And when you try to build a team like that, and those are the kind of players that you have, you're asking for it. So, with that being said, you're 100% right. But, and this is my but. The defensive coordinator and the scheme, I think with good or bad players, we're running out of excuses for him. What I don't like about the coach is, one, his scheme is antiquated. Okay. He doesn't blitz. He doesn't run blitz. He doesn't blitz. He rushes for. And in his mind, the defense is so simple that guys should be able to pick it up, even the bad players. But that's not what's happening. The problem with his defense is that it is really simple. It's not hard to figure out. So and Big Time was talking about Bo Nix and how he plays, and we talked about he doesn't really throw the ball down the field. And I was saying to myself, he hasn't seen our defense, because our defense, it's gonna make it so easy for you to find receivers because they run wide open.
Yeah.
So one of the things we got to talk about, so it's really both. It is the players, but this is the team they built. They had one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and the owner at the last minute decided to screw up the deal. And he's still bragging about it, by the way, which is really disturbing.
Yeah.
But here's where I am, and we're going to talk about this. I do think we should trade for Crosby. We could trade for is it Erickson? What is his last name? Hendrickson. But what I'm going to say is, I'm not giving Eberflus none of these players. I'm not making a trade if Eberflus is the coordinator. We're talking about playing Savon Rivell and Overshawn. If I'm the general manager, and I'm not playing Rivell with this coach. I'm not bringing Overshawn onto the play with this coach. The first thing I'm going to do, even with my bad players, is I'm going to relieve him of his duties, because his money is guaranteed. He's going to get paid either way. Yeah, he's getting paid by the Bears and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm going to name White Cotton as the interim defensive coordinator. And then I look at, do I want to trade for Crosby? Do I want to, Hendrickson? Do I want to bring up Rivell and Overshawn? What kind of changes? Because one of the things I think we got to address is this coach, the players don't like him. They don't like his scheme. They don't like him. He's an arrogant, get off my lawn guy. And so at some level, your players have to be excited, and they have to be kind of motivated a little bit, B-Bird. They just not. So I agree with you, but this is the team that Jerry and Steven built. Okay. Yeah. This is what they did. Even the thing with Diggs, it's we're all over the place, but this is the team that they put together. This is one of the worst teams they put together defensively. You called it, the players that we have. This is what they put together. But whatever I do, I'm just gonna do it without Eberflus and let the chips fall. But you're right.
But let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. So right now, if you can just go get a defensive coordinator off any other team, who would you like?
I don't know. I don't even know who's out there, to be honest. What I would do is I
ain't saying nobody available. I'm just saying anybody.
Oh, well, here's what I would have done. And we're going to talk about this on our show a lot. So, and I can't remember if I told you or not. So I was in HR with the company that I work for. So I've literally been in thousands of seminars on how to hire people. It's a science to it. There's certain rules you go by. Mm-hmm. They break every rule.
Yeah,
They just don't follow the science. So to answer
because
your
they don't
question,
have to.
here's what I would have done if I had been the GM in the offseason. So I would have known who Mike Zimmer's number 2 man was. I would have talked to him. I would have called Kansas City, Steve Spagnuolo. Whoever his number 2 person is, I would have interviewed him.
Yeah,
They talked to Rob Saleh about being a defensive coordinator. I would have offered him the most money in the league, which is what the 49ers did. But if I couldn't get him, Bieber, I would have said, if I name you the head coach, who would be your defensive coordinator? That's the guy I would have talked to.
yeah,
And so that's how you hire when you that's what Shotty did with Connor Riley and Clayton Adams. He
yeah,
followed that exact science. So to answer your question, I would have just followed the science and I would have got a coach off of one of those other teams, but they didn't do the homework. What they did, and we talked about it on our show, and I want you to comment on this. I was talking to my best friend about this today. Everything they do is about money.
yeah.
Okay. There is no salary cap for coaches.
That's right.
Now, is it your understanding? And we was talking about this. We got to research this. When they pay the coach, that money comes out of their pocket, right? Or does it come from the end? How does that work?
It doesn't come from the salary cap, but it does. I think it comes out their pocket. Yeah. So that's why they coaches everything. If you really look at it, man, if we really okay, so let me go. Let me tell you my point about. We'll get to that coaches pay. I'm gonna write that down because I had to write stuff down, man. Because
that's part of it.
But look. So the thing I was gonna say on defense coordinator is this: whatever defense coordinator you have, he can't do nothing for Bridges, Reddy Stewart, Marquise Bell, Shamar James, Elam. What I'm trying to tell you, man, is that this is a talent issue. And what Jerry does is, man, he's polished politically to be able to get up in front of the media and knows what to say, man, and he knows how to get these people back on his side.
Yep.
And so I say this. So we're gonna go to a lot of stuff, man. So anyway, I say this: he'll never talk down on players because he can't, because that's his job. So I say, do you think your roster is better? Well, no, I think we got the guys. We just got to. You'll never say, no, man, no, this roster got to be better. Because if you say the roster got to be better, it means that the GM didn't do a good enough job, right?
Yeah.
Also, in the hiring of the coaches, that's why the things that he stakes his reputation on, he plays a long game with those things. Players, coaches, whatever, man, he plays a long game with them. But coaches pay. So the Coach Marv had this thing. I think you might have talked about this earlier. There's one thing Coach Marv said that made me scratch my head. he said he think that that the Cowboys are asset rich and cash poor.
I believe it.
I believe it too. And because they have no other industry to get the money from, right? And so they got a $10 or $15 billion team, but the $10 or $15 is just about an assessment of what the team is.
That's also affecting how they're doing the salary cap, paying players like Dak and Micah. We haven't put our finger on it, but we're kind of on the right track, I believe.
I think what they do with the salary cap, it was amazing to me. Two things. So when I looked at two people and I did them next to each other, Dak Prescott's salary versus Jalen Hurts' salary. And what I noticed is that, man, Dak's like Jalen's, they defer a lot of his money, man. And they pay a lot of his money up front in guarantees too. And so his salary cap will stay lower. Now, what happens is that kicks it off to like 28 and 29 when you have big jumps in the salary cap. But what they figure around that time, we will renegotiate this contract anyway. So that's how they do most of their contracts. The Cowboys, man, they, like if it's 4 years, they kind of want they want the contract to be up in 4 years. Like they want to be done with it. They want to be able to get out and be done with it in 4 years. Yeah. So what that does is they take massive hits every year. Like they take a $42 million cap hit from Dak this year, a 50-something or something. And so I'm like, why do they do that? Like, why won't they? Because they want to be clear cut after 4 years. We're done with you. We can move on. But they're not really investing in the whole process. You look at CeeDee Lamb's contract this year is low, but then it kicks in more. So it's funny how they do it. But what you're saying is right, because where you can really say, okay, do they care about money or they care about winning? is the coaches. There's no salary cap on coaches,
Yep.
and they continue to have the lowest paid coach in the league. And so, in an area where you could spend and get the best, you
Yep.
still don't do it. And so that's the thing with me, man. With them,
And Eberflus, he is the reason they hired him. And Bieber, when they decided to move on from McCarthy, okay, I'm talking about it wasn't even 24 or 48 hours. Eberflus was the number one and only candidate. That is because the Bears are still paying him and they're getting him on a discount.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's the answer.
And Shotty didn't get to hire him. Well, he was attracted to
No.
the Cowboys because of the deferred money that Chicago was going to pay him some money.
Yeah.
And so what we're getting, man, and what the Joneses are getting is what they put into it.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't want to put no money into it, and other teams do, they're gonna go get a Sean Payton. They're gonna pay him, $18 million a year. They're gonna get a turnaround. You got and look what Chicago is doing with this with Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson,
They're ahead of us now.
they never even interviewed Ben Johnson because of the amount that he knew he was going to ask for. He had already put out there, hey, I'm not doing nothing less than 15 million.
Yep.
And so Jones was like, what? That's 3 times as much as we want to pay. And so they never even got in touch with him. So what they're basically saying is, yes, we know coaches that can get us and do better, but financially, we don't want to invest in it. So what it is when I would not even, if somebody's talking Cowboys with me and they say, man, Jerry really wants to win, that's the end of the conversation. Like you can't tell me a guy wants to win when you got this on defense, what we're looking at on defense, what I named to you, and we got the coaches being the lowest paid coaches in the league, but you want to win? And part of that is what Jerry has done to me is he's worked hard on marketing the Cowboys. Now, Cowboy Joe, me and you know that even before Jerry's got here, Cowboys were still must-see in primetime TV, right? They was that with Tom Landry. So he didn't do that. But what he did is he found ways to wring money off of it, right?
Yeah.
And so what he does is figure, okay, look, the Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys. We're going to sell out the stadium. I'm a marketing genius, or, I do well with marketing. I ain't going to say I'm marketing genius. The reason why I don't say that because you can't take Carolina and do that, do what you did. But anyway, so I'm gonna make the money, right? It doesn't matter if I go 6-11 or 11-6. I'm gonna make the same amount of money. But where I can do it, where I cut costs at, if I'm gonna make the same amount of money, why get a $15 million coach when I can get a $4 million coach?
Yeah, especially if the money's coming out of your pocket.
Yeah. Why get a defense? Why go to unrestricted free agency and go get some of the great players in there? I can just go fill the bottom of my roster. Why do that? That's why, again, 2012, Brandon Carr, the last time they signed a top 20 free agent, the last time they competed for a free agent. So if more people will really understand the game that's been playing here, the game has really been playing on the fans. And so then he says, okay, the fans gonna be mad about this, but how can I manipulate these guys, right? How can I do it? And I'll tell you this, man, it got some similarities with politics, and I'm not gonna get into any names though.
Yeah.
But what we get rid of our players, man. So Cowboy Joe, think about this. We've had 2 bona fide superstar defensive players in the last 5 years. One of them is Michael Parsons, who we got rid of, who gets rid of a primetime pass rusher in his prime. No, one of the top 3 in the league. Nobody does that. And the other one is Diggs. And both of them going to be emotional decisions. So even the guys that were superstars on defense, they getting rid of those guys, man. And that's because, as you said earlier, what they do is they don't like dogs, man. Mm-mm. They don't like dogs. They want folks to acquiesce to what they want. And that's just kind of what it is. But let me say this one thing, Joe, and I'll let you go. I know I've been rambling on, man, but what Jerry does a great job of, he knows his audience, right? So they threw Diggs, okay, you go, put it this way, Joe, we're going to come back to this Diggs situation and then we'll walk through it, okay? But go with your comments. I'm sorry.
No, I'm on point with everything you're saying. And here's the other side of the coin, okay? So here's the problem. With the way they run the team with the coaches, you're 100% correct. But here's the thing. you don't have no room for error on acquiring talent and drafting. This is the big elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. They had a reputation of being a good drafting team. They're not. They're average or below average. And then free agents, the guys that you got on your list right there, those are the guys they went and got. So
Yeah.
the chicken coming home to roost is you
Yes.
got this whole thing over here with the money, the coaches, but the problem, you're making it worse by the decisions you're making in personnel, the kind of drafts you're having. And man, I'm gonna tell you something. I get more smoke. People will just, I'm talking about, they literally like be calling you everything but a child of God. If you say something about Will McClay, you better not say anything about Will McClay. Not around here. But man, look, there just ain't no way you can get around him the way some of his drafts, some of the player evaluations. And the one
Absolutely.
thing I want to add, the type of players, the dogs, he kind of aligns with Steve and them with that. When Steven and Jerry don't like a dog and don't like a player, he's fine with it.
Yeah.
So we got a huge issue with acquisition and draft picks because you got to be pretty much, I won't say perfect, you got to be pretty close to just hitting it. And the kind of players they're drafting, the free agents, all the players you got on your list right there, these are the people that they went in and brought in. So
Absolutely.
that's the issue.
Yeah. Well, let me say one thing about Will McClay. For one thing, I don't know the man personally, of course, but I think he's been a hindrance because if you really, even when he was on fire, what he's done is he's propped up the Joneses with his good picks and made them, because they can't evaluate players.
Mm-mm.
So he's the one that was doing it when he was on fire, because it was a period of time where they had great drafts. But lately we have not been having great drafts. And what he does is he's not a general manager. What he is a talent evaluator. And he go gets players that the Joneses want. All Will's doing is trying to keep his damn job, man. I'm sorry. That's what he's doing. He's gonna do whatever the Joneses say do to keep his job.
He does have, to be fair, he's got one hand tied behind his back. That's just the truth.
Yeah, but see, the thing is though, but why wouldn't you move on?
Well, so the answer to that, and we've talked about that. I know for a few years, I think his son was here. He played high school ball, and then but the thing that was interesting, he just signed a new contract. I think this time last year in the offseason. So I've always been asking myself, why hasn't he went and got a real general manager's job or a general manager's job with another franchise? And I don't know, maybe you know, I don't really know of any team that has tried to sign him. Has he done interviews with someone?
Yeah, he did. He interviewed with Houston Texans. Hey, you don't mind me? It's some people in the chat. I think they might be on yours or mine's.
Yeah.
Tifo Stark, appreciate you checking in. I think Miles W.
Look, Miles is my nephew.
Okay, tell him thanks for checking in. And so I got a couple of people on that. I just want to shout out to those guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Houston Texans did interview him, but I think part of the kids and all that kind of stuff, he decided to stay down here.
And what about his pay? Do we know where he's paid? What his pay? Is he on the low end or the high end? I never figured that out.
Well, because we got to really realize, we got to understand what he does. I don't even know what his job description is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to put it up.
But I mean, obviously, it's more than anything that you and I can compare to. He's probably, but I got to look at what other general managers. I'm fascinated with the general manager of the Detroit Lions. He's a young guy. He's a brother. Did you see him the other night up in the booth?
I did, yeah.
It's a couple of other teams. So two things we got to talk about on our show. There's two things are trends to me. I'm seeing young defensive coordinators, a lot of brothers. They bring a certain, tenacity, a flair to the game. The players feed off of it, like Al Harris.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Al Harris was ready to be a coordinator. I'm not saying that. I don't even think he was. But the trend is those type of coaches on your defense, like Brian Flores with Minnesota right now. So you either got to have that, B-Bird, or you just have to have a very good scheme like Steve Spagnuolo for the Chiefs. You talked about the 49ers game against Kansas City where Patrick Mahomes wasn't playing well. The defense kept them in the game because they just have a
Absolutely.
great scheme. You got to
Correct.
have one or the other. We don't have either.
Yeah, and I was going to say, earlier, and I know your take on Eberflus, but then I just thought about this while you were talking. I said, when you get Eberflus and you get bad players, so you got bad coaching and bad players,
Ooh,
then
man.
this is what you're going to get. You can't be bad at both of them, right?
No,
At least you got to have a good Spagnola or somebody like that with these guys and make them, ranked 20th in the league. Or you got to have a lot of guys with a dude that don't really know what he's doing just overcome it. You
so
can't
today, after today's performance, we gave up 47.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't remember in my history of watching a team where we've had this many points put up on us, and we moved up to 28 last week. This is like extraordinarily bad.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go to Diggs right quick because I heard somebody talking about it earlier, and I wanted to just walk through this.
Yeah.
So after his knee injury, he got the knee injury in practice before the Arizona game. I think that was in 2023, maybe.
Yeah.
And so he rehabbed all that year with the Dallas Cowboys, and I think he came back in 2024. Yeah. And then so he rehabbed all that year, but then some things started coming out about his rehab efforts and lack thereof, and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't think anything. I took it as surface at what it was. Like, okay, well, man, he probably struggled in that. So then when he had to have was it bone graft? Was that what it is?
It's microfracture. I've actually had the surgery.
Yeah, microfracture. So he had to have that one.
That's that's one of the worst injuries you can have.
And so with that one, what he decided to do was to get his own people, right? And so I think Diggs was okay. Two things you take a regular GM, that Diggs thing never gets out like if he didn't attack rehab the right way. That never gets out the house. Because a regular GM be like, nah, I ain't gonna throw the player on the bus like that. We need this guy, And so, but what Diggs did was, because Diggs' mind was like, what? So I think Diggs said, no, I did attack it. I just don't like your guy's not that good. Well, Jerry got to back his guys up, so because he's paying them, right? See, that's another thing, almost like the players. Like if I get the players, I can't say they suck because it's my job to get them. Well, my staff, I employ these guys. I can't say they suck. So then Diggs let me walk you through this. This is what I would do if I'm a GM with the Diggs situation. The first year, like the rehab didn't go well, I bring everybody in and say, hey, what was the deal? And they say, well, he ain't attacking right. And it's okay. How'd you do it? Well, and then you start looking at some consistencies along, okay, how my other guys did with it. If there's some things in there, you're like, okay, Diggs come and say, hey, I want to go to an outside person. Okay, Diggs, you can go to an outside person. This is your body, it's your career. I understand that. You say, but will you do this? Come check in every, month. Let our guys look at you and just see where you are. Hey, if you where you're supposed to be, man, I don't have any problem with you going paying for outside stuff. It won't affect you. But I'm gonna give you our guys say you should be back week 4 of the year.
Very reasonable.
If you're not back week 4 of the year, then I have to say that that you should have used our guys and we might take some actions financially. But this is just between us, your agent. Everybody knows the deal. That's how we're gonna handle it. But they didn't handle it that way. And that's why, because somebody was saying earlier that it was this rift the rift never needs to happen between the Cowboys and Diggs. Because even if you say, hey, man, we're going to keep $500,000 of this money we're supposed to give you, you ain't even have to make that public. They went out the way to make that public. Yeah. They started a war with a guy. You don't even have to do that. And so what you look at, so you go back and look back at him, all pro player Diggs, and you look at all pro player Parsons, man, really those guys ain't even on our team anymore. Yeah. And that's crazy when you look at the list of people I named you. And so what I found is this, and this is what I found politically. I'm not going to get too deep into this. We got people out there that's like, Parsons, get rid of him. We don't care. Get him out of here. He don't want to be here. Jerry turned people on. This was a textbook Jerry issue with Parsons. Yeah. It was textbook. It wasn't nothing Parsons did wrong, but talk to Jerry financially. Then he went back, and Jerry knows that you're supposed to talk to the agent. He went back on that, and so the fans should have been 90-some percent, 95% in support of Michael Parsons, but they weren't, because what it is, man, is what I found politically too. People vote against their own interest.
Yeah, and when they also being manipulated.
Yeah, well, they're being manipulated, but see, they allowing themselves to be manipulated because they don't like Parsons anyway.
Yep.
So what it is you say, so somebody say, hey man, look, we're gonna ship Parsons off, trade him, and send him to Green Bay. He ain't gonna never see it coming, gonna blindside him. Yeah, but what's gonna happen? Our team gonna be worse. Yeah, but I like to see him struck. I want to see him suffer, send him off. Okay, but your team gonna be worse. You want your team to be better, right?
And you didn't send him to Carolina. You didn't send him to Jacksonville. You sent him to the Packers.
No, it got to be the people that's on Jerry's side versus the people that's on Parsons' side, and they just wanted to win the argument, right? So now you back with the same thing with Diggs. They just want to win the argument, man. Like they're not even worried about making the team better or how this going to affect the team. You cannot take Michael Parsons off your defense and say you're better. It doesn't happen.
Nobody does that. And I want to say this about Diggs. So there is something going on, and you've heard this before, ironically, the both sides thing. So it's something going on with Diggs' side of the table with this. We don't know what it is, but I don't think I've told you about this. I know I've talked to Big Time Show about it. So the microfracture surgery. So I had the old school version of it. And so I didn't have any cartilage in my knee. So what the doctor does, they drill holes in your knee, and it causes your knee to bleed, and that blood, it clots. That's your new cartilage. So my best friend reminded me of this. So Anthony Spencer, that injury, it ended his career. And Anthony Spencer was a good player.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then you remember Amari Stoudemire that played for the Knicks?
Yeah, basketball, yeah.
That's what happened to him. So when you have that microfracture surgery, so like my doctor told me, he said it's 90% effective. He said there's a 10% chance that it won't work. He also told me that there was a chance that I could have that procedure, and 3 or 4 years later, I would need a knee replacement, because it's not like repairing your ACL is actually easier than this injury. So I said all that to say this. He had both injuries. He had the ACL and the microfracture surgery. But what they did, so about a year after I had my surgery, they came up with a new way to do it. But it's basically the same thing. They just it's a more advanced way to do it. Both of the procedures, it's bone on bone is what you're trying to prevent. And so what's happening with Diggs, he probably still has some bone on bone. That's not going to get better. Okay.
Yeah.
The ACL part is actually the easiest. So I said all that to say this. There was some word that leaked out the last couple of days that his knee is bothering him too. And I can actually testify to that, because I had the surgery in 21. My knee from time to time, it just hurts because there is some bone on bone there. It's not like it was. So I said all that to say this. The thing with Diggs, it's a little bit of both. There's something going on with him, probably from a mental situation. You don't never want to downplay that. He's hurt too. But what I was going to tell you, I want to make sure that I say this. Here's what the Cowboys do. When they pay you, they own you.
Yeah.
When they pay you, no matter what, they want you on the field. And this is why I'm concerned about Overshawn, Savon Ravel, because when they pay you,
or draft you high,
I own you. I want you on the field. I don't care what's going on with you mentally. I don't really care if you're hurt either. So that's the other part, a bad part of this whole deal. And I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. The evidence, it came out of Jerry's mouth. So if you look at the training camp press conference, he's talking about how they paid Steele and he didn't play, and they start talking about all these guys that missed time, like people are trying to miss time. Sometimes, man. You probably heard of this term, and I think I'm gonna use it loosely. Sunken cost. You know what that is? Sunken cost.
Yeah.
Well, For anybody that don't know, it's like this. So me and my wife went to Louisiana, and we went there for a couple of days because my brother was doing the 4th of July, and we stayed Friday night, and then we paid for Saturday. Went over to my brother's house. Well, something came up, and we had to leave. My wife said, "Well, baby, we gonna leave." I mean, say I want to go home because we got some things at home, but we already paid for the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Well, that's not a hindrance." He said, "Well, yeah, but we paid for it." I said, the money's already gone. Either we're gonna sleep at the hotel or we're gonna sleep in our house. It don't matter
Yeah.
to me. We can't get it back.
It's a sunken cost.
So yeah, sunken costs. And so what it is that the Cowboys don't like sunken costs. Other GMs understand that this is the cost of doing business. I've already paid that guy, and whatever I get out of it, it'll be great if he stays healthy. But I can't really sit there and worry about, I gotta hurry up and get him back. Why? I gotta get my money out of him. No. Wait till he's ready to come back. Like Siobhan Rivera probably shouldn't even play this year, to be totally honest with you. But now because they're in a dire situation, they're gonna try to rush him back. But look, I wanted to tell you about, I think what they don't do is they worry too much about getting the most out their investments instead of understanding that, hey, it's a cost of doing business. You can pay a guy and he goes out there the first player of the year and get hurt for the whole year. I mean, it happens. You can't sit there and like, I should have paid that guy. No, with the information you had at that time and you gave him a contract, that's what you did. Don't worry about it. Don't look back and second guess yourself. You already paid him. It's over with. But that's a sunken cost thing, man. Those guys, they want to get everything out of you when they pay you a contract. They want you, if it's 5 years, they want you to play 80 games. No, it's more than that. No, 85 games because it's times 17. They want you to play that and whatever the playoffs is.
So let me expand on your analogy about the hotel. So I'm gonna take your analogy. Okay, but so I'm gonna go back to you and your wife. And I'm saying this nicely. Okay. So let's just say your wife, when you guys schedule trips, your daughter will tell you, well, Dad, when we schedule trips, Mom, she normally picks the best hotels. Every time Mom picks a hotel, it's 5-star. We love it. When Dad picks the hotels, it's kind of iffy. Okay. When Dad picks the hotels, so not only do you have sunken cost, B-Bird,
yeah,
on this trip, your wife didn't pick the hotel. You did. So not only did you lose the sunken cost, the hotel you picked, it was a bad hotel. So this is the other part of their problem. They're paying players that are not good. So you pay Steele. He's not that great. No. We seeing it now with Osa. Osa is not like a terrific great player. They paid Michael Gallup. That was a huge mistake. Terrible decision. Yeah. So that Michael Gallup was a bad hotel. So not only do they have sunken costs, they're doing it with the wrong product.
Yeah. So say making bad decisions even at the time of the purchase. Yeah. And you're right about that because you can look at the hotel and say, man, it's a flea bag. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But sometimes you pick a better hotel, B-Bird, but your wife, she knocks it out of the park. So you shouldn't be picking the hotels. But guess what's happening with the Cowboys? You're picking the hotel.
Yeah. So one of the things, what do you think about the game today? Give me your thoughts because we didn't even hit on the game today, really.
Well, I'm gonna talk about this, and people again. I welcome the smoke, and my son is one of them. He and I was sitting outside before we came on. You know somebody I'm not letting off the hook in this game? Dak Prescott.
Oh no, Dak. Yeah.
Dak, this is what Dak does. When your defense is not doing what the Kansas City defense does, he had a scramble for a first down. He slid before the marker. So B-Bird, in this kind of game, you're playing at Mile High Stadium. You don't slide right there. You put your head down. You get that first down. And guess what? The referees are going to protect you. The defensive players for the Broncos, what are they going to do? They're going to just let you get the first down. They're not going to come in and hit you because they're going to get – so what you slide before the marker, and Dak has done that before. And then before the halftime, you throw the ball over the middle of the field. You got a kicker that can kick it 70 yards. You throw the ball over the middle of the field in double coverage and get it picked. And then the last interception he threw, what is he looking at? So
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen on that one, to be honest with you.
The thing about Dak is you cannot, in these kind of games, you just can't play this way, and I'm not going to excuse you for it.
Well, I agree. I think what ends up happening, Dak is a front running quarterback, right? When things are going great, he is cold blooded, buddy. And but when things are not going great, he can't pull you out of it, man. And I'm a Dak fan. I've seen it happen. What I've also often said about him, Dak is a thermometer. He's
Yeah,
not a thermostat. He does not. He can't set the temperature of the room, but he can feel the temperature of the room. And so when things are going bad and things are cold, he's cold. When
like
things
at
are hot,
Chicago.
he's hot. Yeah. And so that's just what it is, man. I think what he does, he starts feeling pressure. He
Yeah,
doesn't do real. I'm talking about mental pressure. He doesn't do well with mental pressure, man. And so that's why they got the thing called them Dak eyes. We see him on
yeah.
the sideline in
I,
playoff
I
games and
call
all
it
that.
I call it deer in the headlights, Dak.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. During the headlights, but we some people call it Dak eyes. And
Yeah.
when you see them eyes, hey, ain't nothing good for it to happen from now on. That's why it's almost. That's why you got the. I don't even. Okay, let me just say this. You really almost got to have a top 11, 10 defense for that, because sometimes he's going to do that. But
Mhm.
I think what it is if you have the pressure of winning or losing on him totally, having to score 40 points in your mind when you're not on that pace, now you start rushing things and things aren't going your way and you're punting and all that, you start rushing. But if you have a defense that can kind of hold it down until you get yourself right, then you don't feel that pressure.
Yeah.
Or if it goes into the game and like, oh, defense gonna win this one, offense just gonna be, secondary. And then now he can operate. I've always said players don't operate is the rare ones. I mean, there's only a few of them in our lives that operate under more pressure, great, than operate under less pressure, great.
So Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, they will play like Dak did today. Buffalo doesn't have the kind of defense that Mahomes has. So you'll see Mahomes play like this, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson will too. Um, but when you got Tracreasy Bridges playing corner, when you got people on the field that we have, you talked about the talent earlier, it's going to compound. It's going to make it worse. So what
Yeah.
you got to do if you're Dak, you're playing at Denver. Uh, what's some of our next big road games we have? We played at Philly already.
Yeah,
Um,
let me go
we,
look.
we gotta,
I don't know
but
what we played Kansas City at.
so I was telling my best friend today, and he and I we go back and forth, kind of like me, you, and my son do. And so I keep telling my best friend, he's down on the defense. I tell
Yeah.
him, we do get the ball. We are going to get the ball. What are we going to do in this type of game? When you get the ball, you got to move the ball, and I don't care if you're kicking field goals. What you cannot do, you cannot run for a first down, and the marker is right there, and you slide a yard short. You cannot do that.
But
Uh,
here's the deal. Here's the deal,
yeah,
though. Don't you think we're asking for MVP Dak every game?
that's the team we put together.
But that's not reality, though, right?
It's not fair. It's not
And
it's
so,
not
so
balanced.
but let me show you this. It's not reality for Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-mm.
So so
Josh
what?
Allen either.
No, it's not reality for any quarterback. So what we do is we compound his mistakes, right?
Yep.
And so now every mistake, every bad throw, every interception, everything he does is compounded because we need you to be perfect. And,
Mhm.
and that's the thing is he's not going to be perfect. And that's where the defense comes in, right? Like the defense is making you have to be perfect to win.
Yep.
And that's just what it is. And he's going to have games like this, but Patrick Mahomes going to have them, Allen's going to have them, everybody else
Lamar.
is going to have them too. But they'll win some of those games.
Yeah.
We don't win games when Dak play like this, and because our defense has Bridges, 7th-round draft pick. Well, I don't know when we got this. When did we get this guy, man?
He was brought up on a team a couple of weeks ago. I
And
want to
again,
know. I still want to know why did we cut Izzy Mukwamo?
I don't
I'm
know.
just and then one other question I have today. We can touch on this. Malik Davis was active again. Why are we playing? You're at Mile High Stadium. Why are you playing blue instead of Malik Davis?
Well, one thing I noticed I didn't like about Blue in the evaluation process. For one thing, Blue never played like, and I'm not down on Blue because I'm not down
I'm
on him.
not either.
Yeah, I'm not down on him. Like some other content creators, they just don't like him. But
But this
I'm
ain't
not
the game
down
to
on him.
be playing him.
But this the thing too. You know, one of his biggest issues was
Or
fumbling.
fumbling. He fumbled today.
Yeah, he fumbled today. Coming out of college, one of his biggest issues was fumbling. Man, he had a big problem fumbling. And if you got a big problem fumbling in college, what you think when them boys coming to them punches and all the other kind of stuff at the ball, man? They coming for the ball. So
why won't they play Malik Davis?
Well, who was number 43?
43? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Let me go look at the roster. Because number 43 got a couple of carries. And I said, well, who is that guy? And I don't know if that's Malik Davis. Does he have the same number?
Malik Davis, what is his number? Let's look it up. I had a roster. Yeah,
it got 21 in here.
This just going back to what we said earlier, B-Bird. So I want to make this point. So we talked about Lamar, Josh Allen, Mahomes. They've had games like Dak have, but I'm stuck on this. We haven't been to an NFC Championship game in 30 years. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Mahomes, they've made it to those games. Dak hasn't.
Yeah.
So you're gonna give them a little bit more leeway. Dak, he hasn't made it to an NFC Championship game now. Is it his fault? No, it's not. But you're not really playing with house money here.
But so let me ask you a question. So and okay, I'm just gonna ask a question. Why would you say that they have not made an NFC Championship game when they made the playoffs?
Just rewind our show. It's because of the players they drafted, the poor free agent acquisitions, because the coaching money is coming out of their pocket. When you have Jason Garrett as your coach for 10 years,
that's crazy.
Wade Phillips. Look, nobody, when Wade Phillips got hired here, no one was going to hire him as a head coach. You kept Garrett for 10 years. I don't even count Campo because when Campo was a coach, they didn't even try to. They went like a whole draft that they didn't even draft.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Now who was? But so and then another thing that we got to talk about on one of my shows. I'm gonna get smoked for this too. I'm getting smoked for everything. Rob Marinelli went 0-16 as the Detroit Lions head coach, and he was kept here for almost 10 years, and nobody talks about that. So I think the best team we had, I want to get your opinion on this at some point. When you look over the last 20 years, the best teams we had to have a chance at the Super Bowl was 2014, 2007, and 2016. Now, some people will put in the 2 years we lost to the 49ers. They would say that was our best chance. For me, it's 2016. I think that was our best chance to make it. And we lost to Green Bay because when the game started, Rob Marinelli didn't have a team ready to play. We got down 21-3, if you remember that. We came back, and then Rob Marinelli, using the same defense that we've been using today, he was in a zone coverage. It was 3rd and 24, and Aaron Rodgers at the tight end. And what happened is the corner, what was his name? Jones. We drafted the number 1. We had him playing safety.
Oh yeah, Jones. Yeah.
So he got confused, and so that was his zone. But he drifted into another zone. But anyway, make a long story short, people don't talk about Rob Marinelli. That was not a good hire. He was not. And then not only that, B-Bird, you lose the 2016 game, you let him hang around. And it was Rob Marinelli who decided he didn't want TJ Watt. He wanted Taco. Yeah. So we keep going back to the coaches. So to answer your question, it's the coaches, it's the money, it's the players.
So I want to ask you a question. In 2007, which was better, our offense or our defense?
It was our offense. Our offense. Oh, 2007?
Yeah.
So that was the team. So Romo, we had DeMarcus Ware, T.O., and people don't talk about this. T.O. was injured before that game. If T.O. is healthy, I don't think we lose.
I don't think so either because they were playing 1-on-1. Yeah. But I think we both agree that the offense was better, right?
Offense was better, but the defense, that was probably our best defense.
Okay.
We had DeMarcus Ware. Yeah.
But the offense is better, right?
Offense is better.
Okay. 2014, offense better or defense?
Oh, absolutely. The offense, the defense wasn't good. And I will tell you this: if Dez had caught that ball, I still think we lose because the defense wasn't good. Yeah,
I think we
defense.
lose two.
The defense was not going to stop Aaron Rodgers,
No, it wasn't stop.
not
And
in
he
that
was limp,
stadium.
and he was limping that game.
He was
20,
limping.
2016 defense better offense.
Offense, no question.
2023 defense better offense.
Offense.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They've never built a defense that they never put the energy like they put into the offense into the defense.
No.
Right now, we have no first round draft picks on defense that we drafted. Right? I think Clark is a first round draft pick. I'm sorry,
Kenny Clark.
yeah, he's a first round draft pick for
He
Green Bay.
looked hurt today. He was limping.
Yeah, yeah. So, but we got 5 of them on offense because what they do is they put their money into the offense and they put their draft picks and everything into the offense. But at some point in time, you got to value the defense, man, and they have not. So, no quarterback. It's going to be very hard if you really look at it. In all those games, the offense faltered, but the defense never. Like in 2023, defense didn't hold us down either. Both of them were bad, but we were offensive led team. And so
in 2007, all they had to do was just stop the Giants and you win the game, but we didn't stop them.
Yeah, and so until they get serious about defense and stop putting Reddy Stewart, undrafted free agent, Murray, former #1 pick that the team prior didn't have, Bland got lucky, but he's a 5th round draft pick. They didn't expect to get that out of him.
He's still banged up.
Bridges, 7th round draft pick. I don't even know where he came from. I don't know what week he came. Marquise Bell, and some of these guys are good players, but Shamar James, 5th round. Man, you go to you can't. Elam, 1st rounder. Who cuts a 2022 1st round draft pick this early? Nobody. You can't be good if the Jones and love to try to get 1st rounders as a reclamation project.
No.
Leo Fowle 3rd round, Osa 3rd round, Clowney 1st round of a past his prime. Dude, we just got a bunch of guys on defense, man. And we've been doing that a lot. And what we do is now, next thing you know, we point at Reddy Stewart saying, come on, man, you got to cover better. Reddy Stewart, I'm not picking on him. Let's go Bridges. Bridges, you got to cover better. But you know what? Bridges, you know what? If I was a lawyer for Bridges, I'd say he's supposed to cover better. Don't you know this guy was a 7th round draft pick this last draft? The team that drafted him cut him. He can't even make the team.
We gotta, and I mean, Coach, we got to talk about this. So this is the next thing we got to talk about on our next show this week. Here's a question for you, for my son, for a big time show. Do you really want to trade for Crosby and Hendrickson? Do you really want to put Savon Rivell out there on the field with this defense or even Overshawn? That's something that we got to start talking about, because I'm thinking at this point, I don't even know if you can fix it. We're going into game 8 or 9 now. If you trade for Crosby, I won't argue with you, but to me, it's a move you are making for the future. But
that's the only reason
you can't trade for Crosby and have Eberflus as your coordinator. Rivell, you don't need to put him on the field.
No.
And Overshawn, what is he? So that's where we are. This is where Jerry put us. And I would say this. Now, if you had Micah, you could play Savon Rivell, you could play Overshawn, and you're gonna be all right at some point your defense. But no, I think we getting to the point to where, man, it's like I put in the chat. I was listening to Boston M show.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, I'm not doing anything until I get this situation with Eberflus resolved. I'm sorry, and I think even with the players that he got, I think we're going to end this game today. We're going to probably have the least amount of blitzes in the NFL. Probably we probably played the most zone of any team today. And what he does is it's just you talk about sunken costs earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna look at sound, SOUND. His defense is not sound. And so, do you listen to Brian Broaddus at all?
I don't. No, I don't listen to him.
So Brian Broaddus, he talked about this a few weeks ago. He said when he's watching the Cowboys defense, it looks like the Money Kiffin defense. That's what we're running. Money Kiffin is like 90 years old. So again, I agree with you. I agree with Jules. I think, it's the players. Reddy Stewart. You guys are right on that. But you got to do something with this scheme. It's not sound. The players, no, but they don't like it. This is what happened with him at Chicago. In Chicago, the players, he was not a players coach.
Yeah.
They didn't like the guy. They was having meetings about him on the side, and the Bears fired him. They never fired a coach in their 103-year history. But Jerry didn't do his research on this. He didn't. He just hired him because he knew that they were not going to have to pay him.
Well, but Cowboy Joe, that's all the research you needed. That's all it needs. So I'll go back to Crosby. Only reason I would still consider Crosby is for the future. That means I got him for 26, 27, and 28. You know what I'm saying? And so that's because I could still. Now I definitely wouldn't go after Hendrickson. Because that's really a 1-year deal, and now he's going to be in free agency next year. So I definitely wouldn't do that. But so I put something in the comment too. I gave him a cash app. I said, hey, somebody was asking, hey man, the same question you asked, hey, should we still be? I said, look, we might need to be sellers at the doggone trade deadline, to be honest with you.
I'm gonna give you 4 players that I'm selling. Okay. When we saw one today, he made a terrific catch. If I can get a 5th round pick for Tolbert, he would be gone.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm also gonna kick the tires on Sam Williams. Who was my other? I had 2 more. So it was Sam Williams, Tolbert. Oh, I would also make Mingo available. And so what I'm doing, B-Bird, for the players that I'm talking about, if I can get a 5th or 6th round pick for those players, I would do it. And the reason I'm doing it with Tolbert is because Flournoy needs to play, or Mingo needs to play.
You hit it dead on. He needs to play.
And then Sam, either Rico needs to just play. There's no reason for Sam to be on the field taking snaps.
Well, he didn't either. It was a make or break year for him this year, and he's breaking. And the dude is a walking penalty, man. That's all he is.
He got one today.
Yeah, he got one today.
So Tolbert is probably some value for him. So yeah, I would be sellers from that aspect. Absolutely.
One thing too, man, is that so offensively, this is what I want to see from the wide receiver standpoint. I want to see our 2 dogs out there. The 3rd wide receiver, I want to see Flournoy. Yeah. That guy you should not have the games that he had, and then next thing you know, now he's not even out there for Turpin and for Tolbert. No. Let Turpin be. But what that's that thing where I paid him. I need Turpin out there. I need him to be number 3. No, but why? Because I paid him this contract. But suppose Flournoy is better.
Yeah.
And Flournoy, has Turpin had 100-some-yard game?
No. And I told my son, in Turpin's defense, I think that pass he had, to me, it wasn't a good throw. He should have caught it. It was definitely a catchable ball. It wasn't a good throw. What Dak should have did, if Dak had put that ball where it was supposed to be, Turpin would have caught that ball and turned upfield. But he should have caught it. I have Turpin kind of in a different category from the receivers, but Flournoy, he needs to play. I'm gonna tell you somebody else that I like in the preseason. I like Holden from Oregon, and so
I did too.
He's a dog. He's a dog. He's the kind of player they don't like now.
Oh, they don't like him.
No, but he needs to. So if you can move Mingo and Tolbert, what it does, it pushes Flournoy and Holden up the roster.
Yeah.
And then Sam, and people are not gonna like it. I would shop Mozzie. I just would. You're not gonna re-sign Mozzie.
No.
I would call the Chargers. Harbaugh was his old coach. We just kick the tires. But
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and Mozzie played today. I don't remember.
He played. He made a couple of plays too.
He did. Okay.
Yeah, he made a couple plays. Yeah.
But hey, it's people. When you talk about Mozzie, they get mad. And then of course, you got Schoonmaker out there. Every time he gets near the goal line, he gets the knee down. It's like he hasn't figured out yet. Like in the NFL, when your knee hits the ground, you're down. And, every time he gets near the goal line, he's not athletic enough to what does he do? Why is it fam?
What does he give you that Span Ford don't?
He doesn't give you anything. And Span
that means you should have drafted him in the 2nd round. And I'm not a draft guy. And can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I don't like draft nerds. Let me tell you why I don't like them. Because everything they talk about is always draft. They draft picks are gold to them,
Yeah.
and so and the off season of drafting is what they live for. But the end game is the Super Bowl and championships. But they don't care about that. That's why I don't like we have a content creator that's really draft driven. I don't even follow him, man, because that's not the ultimate. The ultimate is not winning the draft. The ultimate is winning the world
So
championship.
do you watch like HTM with his draft content
I watch
or
him, yeah,
Jeff
definitely,
Kavanaugh? So
yeah,
what I would say is this, and I said this on our show last week, and I was 100% serious. I could hire Jeff Kavanaugh,
yeah,
HTM, and put him in charge of the Cowboys cap, and they would do a better job.
yeah. I definitely agree.
I will also tell you this. So Brian brought us Matt Kavanaugh. So me and my son, we did draft things. Honestly, we could put the content creators in charge of the Cowboys draft B Bird, and we can do better. When the
Yeah,
Cowboys drafted Schoon and Mozzie, nobody had them. I mean, nobody had
yeah.
them where they were picked. Look, Schoonmaker. So you're a math guy. What's 4 times 32? I got to do it on my computer on my thing.
128, 128.
So when we looked at that draft, we didn't have Schoonmaker in the top 128. Nobody did.
Yeah,
So the Cowboys draft board got leaked out. They had Schoonmaker in the 4th round. They took him in the 2nd.
yeah,
Mozzie was not. So I said I'd have to say this. I'm not like the draft. I understand what you're saying, but the whole point is we could do a better job of drafting than they have. Nope.
yeah.
Marshawn Nealon, did he play today?
Well, if he did, he didn't make a impact because I didn't hear his name.
So the rhetorical question, he did. Okay, Marshawn Nealon was a 2nd round pick. We can just stop and we can do a whole show on 2nd round
Yeah,
pick.
man,
Marshawn Nealon is like average is average. I was in Shreveport,
yeah,
Louisiana. I was at a Kappa convention, and I was mad because I had to go to this convention, and the draft was on. So we had to draft on one channel. We was in a big old sports bar, and so my fraternity brothers, the Mavericks was playing. This is the NFL draft. The Mavericks were playing at night, so we had the Mavericks on. So my son was talking to me about the picks through my phone.
mhm,
I had my phone too, but when my son was telling me who we picked, so we had done mock draft after mock draft. When we drafted Marshawn Nealon, everybody was like, "What? Who is this guy?" Nobody had him picked right there. It's like, what? This is what they do. And Marshawn Nealon played today, but he is just a guy.
yeah. So I think what happens now, man, is so much information out there that a person that really loved to do the research could really rank these players, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it was say 20, 25 years ago when you didn't really know anything about them. But now they got YouTube, they got film study. You could do all those things on too. And I want to clarify this: people that's in the draft, okay, like if you're in the draft, yeah, but once the draft is over with, now you into the season. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And how these players gonna go? You got some draft people that once the draft is over with, they can't wait till the next draft.
Yeah, they done.
The season got to be played. Like the draft is for the season, for the game, and so see how they do out here. You worried about next year's draft? No, you're just a draft guy. That's all you are. And so that's what I'm talking about. So I listen to I'm definitely gonna listen to y'all next year. I listen to people because that's where I get my draft information from. Like people I trust, like
HTM, Vox, Will Steele, and just FYI, Jadon Blue, we were familiar with him. We did literally like 100 mock drafts. So in some mock drafts, Blue was there in the 5th and 6th. We did take him. In some mock drafts, he was there and we didn't take him. We had several running backs rated over him.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw one of the guys today. RJ Harvey was one of the guys that we liked.
Yeah.
And so when the Cowboys drafted, what's number 50? I'm losing my train of thought. What's the linebacker? They moved up to draft him. It was a really silly move.
Jamar
James. So the Cowboys, they moved up in the 5th round to draft him. And again,